Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also, want to acknowledge Alakiam, who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel, the hopeful elect. All right. So, let's see. I'm going to go in today on Acts 19, and starting at the verse 21. And this has to do with Paul ministering in Ephesus, which Ephesus was, the book of Ephesians. It's the Ephesians were the people that lived in Ephesus. All right, so this is Acts 19 and 21. It says, after these things were ended, Paul purposed in the Spirit, when he had passed through Macedonia and Achaia, to go to Jerusalem, saying, after I have been there, I must also see Rome. So see, Paul was active, moving around in the ancient world, because that's something we don't have to do, because we have the internet to do the heavy lifting, right? People can watch our videos no matter, as long as they have an internet, and a modem, they're able to watch our videos. So we don't need to do the same type of work as the disciples did. They had to actually travel, right? But anyway, verse 22. So he sent into Macedonia two of them that ministered unto him, Timotheus and Erastus, but he himself stayed in Asia for a season. And in the same time there arose no small stir about that way. For a certain man named Demetrius, a silversmith, which made silver shrines for Diana, brought no small gain unto the craftsmen. All right, and Diana was a false god. She was a Greek goddess. They call her Diana of Ephesus, which she's also known as Artemis. All right, and I did the research. She was also the twin sister of Apollo. Okay, the daughter of Jupiter, or what you would say Zeus. Okay, so she was a pagan god. And Demetrius the silversmith would make shrines, right? That's what they do. That's what the heathen do. It says, which made silver shrines for Diana, brought no small gain unto the craftsmen, whom he called together with the workmen of like occupation, and said, sirs, ye know that by this craft we have our wealth. So he's pulling these other craftsmen, these silversmiths, who were making these idols, these graven images, and saying, "Hey, this dude is affecting our pockets, basically." You see, because why? Because they were preaching the truth, and just like in today, the Christian church, which is pagan, they're losing they're losing money out their pockets, because you have a lot of Israelites that are leaving the Christian church, right? And the same thing was happening in Ephesus. They were, these silversmith, these craftsmen, right? They were losing money because people weren't buying, the pagan graven images of, like this, in this case, Diana, which is they call her Diana of Ephesus, right? So anyway, moving on. Moreover, ye see and hear that not alone at Ephesus, but almost throughout all Asia, this Paul hath persuaded and turned away much people, saying that they be no gods which are made with hands. Right. So just what I was saying, just like, the prophets, we're out here teaching, the Christian church, the Catholic church, they're going to lose, they're going to lose people. They're going to really come down to the elect, and even people who don't believe our doctrine will leave theirs, because they see that there's more. Even some of those people can see, even if they're not of the elect or the heathen, they can see that the pagan church is just a bunch of bullshit. So they lose their tithes. They lose money on this thing. Because of the prophets, right? And in the same fashion, this is what was happening in Ephesus. They was losing money because of the truth being preached. So verse 27, so that not only this our craft is in danger to be set at naught, but also that the temple of the great goddess Diana should be despised, and her magnificence should be destroyed, whom all Asia and the world worshipeth. Right? Because they had those are pagan idols. They had all Asia on lockdown. Right? They had people believing lies, just like they do now. Right now, Babylon, America would be on lock with, JC. And now we're breaking strongholds, right? Let's see. Let me grab that verse real quick. Pulling down strongholds. And that's the same thing the apostles and disciples were doing back in the book of Acts. There was pulling down strongholds, right? When you pull down a stronghold, people ain't gonna go worship that stronghold anymore. And in that time, Diana of Ephesus was a stronghold we're reading about. And in our time, Jesus Christ is a stronghold that we're pulling down, because that Jesus Christ, the fake white Messiah, he has a stronghold on our people, right? 2 Corinthians 10:4, it says, come on, I'm gonna read it from okay. 2 Corinthians 10:4, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to pulling down of strongholds. See, and our weapon is just the truth. We go around the truth, right? We just teach the truth. And we're not out there with guns. We're not out there with knives, weapons. No, our weapon is our sword, the Bible. So we use the truth to pull down these strongholds, right? Verse 5, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of the Most High, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach, right? So we're casting down imaginations, vain imaginations. People used to think that JC was the way, right? But now that the prophets are on the scene, people are considering, like, hey, well, these dudes they sound legit, they sound right? And of course, it's only for the elect, but even the heathen and the 2/3 consider this truth. And I'm not saying they're all in, but they consider it. They'd be like, oh shit. You might have a 2/3 be like, man, this kind of makes sense, but I don't believe what they're saying neither. So either way they're fucked, right? But the heathen, they see it, because the heathen, they'll see what we teach, and they'll become an atheist or whatever, which really they're all atheists because they don't believe in the truth. But the point being is, even the 2/3 and the heathen, this truth has an effect on their churches, right? Where people will fall out and they'll just go to being just a total heathen, a total reprobate. It's not like they're going to convert to the truth, but they'll fall out, the bullshit that they've been taught and the lies that they've been taught. So that's the same thing we're doing as the same thing Paul and the disciples were doing in the time during the time of Acts. Okay, let's get Acts 19 and 28, and it says, and when they heard these sayings, they were full of wrath and cried out, saying, great is Diana of the Ephesians. And the whole city was filled with confusion. And having caught Gaius and Aristarchus, men of Macedonia, Paul's companions in travel, they rushed with one accord into the theater. Oh, okay, let me see where I'm at. So you see, it's starting to riot. The people were raising up against an uproar of the people, right? 30. And when Paul would have entered in unto the people, the disciples suffered him not. And certain of the chief of Asia, which were his friends, sent unto him, desiring him that he would not adventure himself into the theater. Right, because it was drama. People were freaking out because they was getting mad because their great Diana of Ephesus was you know, you got to understand, the prophets who bring this knowledge, this truth, we are a threat to all of these other, pagan gods, pagan idols, pagan deities, pagan lies. We're pulling down strongholds, right? Verse 32, some therefore cried one thing and some another, for the assembly was confused, and the more part knew not wherefore they were come together. And they drew Alexander out of the multitude, the Jews putting him forward, and Alexander beckoned with the hand and would have made his defense unto the people. But when they knew that he was a Jew, all with one voice about the space of 2 hours cried out, great is Diana of the Ephesians. See, so they're getting all desperate. This is like these JC freaks, right? You could see them doing something like this, just talking, in a shouting, about JC. That's what they were doing with Diana. For 2 hours, they just sat there screaming out, great is Diana. Because that's, when you're backed against the wall and you're hanging on to what little life you have left, these people were literally like, they were in a trance. They had to sit there and scream for 2 hours, great is Diana of Ephesians, right? Because why? In reality, their spirit knows she ain't great, so they're trying to prove a point. And that's what people do when they're backed up against a corner, trying to hang on to what little life they have left in that fake idol, right? Because they knew in the spirit, people know what we're saying is true, but they're just willfully ignorant, right? And there's a lot of people that who obviously they're set up not to believe at all. But the point is our truth is bringing down strongholds. Our ministry is causing people to leave their false churches. And I'm not saying they come and join us, but they'll still leave. Just because they leave their church doesn't mean they got to join us, right? And really, if they're a heathen, obviously they won't be able to join us, because this is only for the elect of Israel. All right. Verse 35. And when the town clerk had appeased the people, he said, ye men of Ephesus, what man is there that knoweth not how that the city of Ephesians is a worshiper of the great goddess Diana, and the image which fell down from Jupiter? Seeing then that these things cannot be spoken against, ye ought to be quiet and do nothing rashly. Right? So the town clerk's trying to calm them down, because they were all stirred up. They were all pissed off, because just like they get pissed off with us, right? We're coming out there in the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and our own people get riled up. The what's it saying? Hebrews 12. What is it? Hebrews 12:6. Hey, this truth, it riles up the spirits, man. Let's see. No, where's it at? Okay, I was off. Hebrews 4:12. Hebrews 4:12. For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and this is discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. Right? So that's how powerful our truth is, how powerful it's quick and powerful. It's sharper than a two-edged sword, a piercing the souls and the spirit, and even the joints and marrow. This is why these people were screaming out for 2 hours, "Great is Diana of Ephesians," because why? They were cutting their spirit. Because they knew that like I said, they don't have to necessarily believe the truth, but this is going to cause people to get riled up. Just like when we're out there teaching, you have a lot of people getting riled up in the spirit. They get riled up just by the image of Yahweh. That's the slip of the tongue of Jesus with the horns and the serpent tongue, right? The white Jesus. They get riled up at that alone. All right. So that's how powerful this truth is, though, man. It cuts to the soul, the spirit. It cuts your spirit. Cuts them in their spirits, man. That's why they are screaming for 2 hours. Great is Diana of Ephesians, because they're cut in their spirit. Acts 19, and I'm at verse 37, to the point where they got to have the town clerk trying to calm them down. For ye have brought hither these men which are neither robbers of churches, nor yet blasphemers of your goddess. Wherefore, if Demetrius and the craftsmen which are with him have a matter against any man, the law is open, and there are deputies, let them implead one another. And implead, it means to bring a lawsuit. So he's like, hey, he's trying to talk them out of their madness, right? And he's like, look, this is the ones who has a beef and who has a so-called case against the men of the Lord. Let them take the men of the Lord bring a lawsuit and plead on them, right? That's what that word means. So he's like, he's trying to calm the crowd down because it was a riot. The truth, the and really, the truth is so powerful that the men weren't really even talking shit about Diana of Ephesus. They were just teaching the truth, which the truth alone causes, causes detriment to their fake idols, to their fake lies, to their poor Diana of Ephesus, which is a stronghold on the people at that time. And like I said, just like in this time, Jesus Christ is a stronghold on so many people, that when they start hearing the truth, they're going to start throwing all their images and their statues and their T-shirts and their, you know what I'm saying? The truth is a detriment to these pagan idols, you see? And people will, like I said, they don't necessarily have to join the truth, but they start to see that their shit is bullshit, you see? All right, verse 39. But if ye inquire anything concerning other matters, it shall be determined in a lawful assembly. See, he's like, hey, just take him to court. Take him to court. And he was just trying to calm these people down because they were so riled up in their spirit. Verse 40. For we are in danger to be called in question for this day's uproar, there being no cause whereby we may give an account of this concourse. And when he had thus spoken, he dismissed the assembly. You see, so he was trying to bring order in the court, if you will, order in the concourse, right? Which is a concourse. Let's get that again. Let me see if this will read it for me. Concourse definition. Concourse definition.
Concourse means a large open area inside or in front of a public building, as in an airport or train station.
Right? So that's where they were. They were in front of a public building in an uproar. So if you didn't hear the computer, it said a concourse is a large open area inside or in front of a public building, as in an airport or train station, a crowd or assembly of people, the action of coming together for a meeting. And what were they coming together for? They were coming together to in an uproar against the prophets, because the prophets are bringing down strongholds, and some of these people can't take it. They don't like it, right? Just like these fake ass the fake Jews, man. What are they doing? They're making laws, you know, where you can't speak bad about the fake Jews, right? The Israelis, right? Biden had an emergency speech last week, just basically, you know, saying, there's going to be repercussions